Hi, it's Lori from Stampinology, and I have another fun fold card for you today. We are going to be making an easel card. I've done these before. In fact, I did one at Christmas, a variation on the easel card. One of the easiest. I think it's a good impression, but I chose this card specifically because of the stamp set. I love this stamp set. So I've used it before. I used it a couple of weeks ago. But it's this one. It's the mixed florals, and this is what we're going to be making today. As I said, it's an easel card, so we've got some nice. Let me see if I can't open it upside down and backwards. So as you can see, when it's folded flat, you can get a little hint of what's behind, and you can open it this way, but actually this is what it's designed to do. So when you see sideways, that's how it'll sit up on your counter, or wherever you put your greeting cards. And we're going to do this today because when you have great big stamp sets like this, it is so fun if you have one that really works together. I think in my blog I said, it's like a gift, because you don't, usually when you have one big stamp, you have one big stamp in the set, but this set has two. In fact, it has two big stamps, and I just stamped with it. Where are you? Here we go. There we go. Two really big stamps. And then these are actually fairly good size too. You can see from, looking at how I do. And it's got these tiny little cute ladybugs on here. Or I'm in England, so I think I have to learn to say ladybirds. I think they say ladybirds in Australia as well. Anyway, regardless, this is what we're using today. And this whole thing is set up to feature this amazing stamp set. So, eyeballs. Let's see here. Let's get the eyeballs on. Let's turn the camera down, and we're on. Okay, this looks pretty good. Let's see now. Let's get this out of the way. We're going to do our card base in black, as we did on this one. This one has a black card base as well. And let's give you some sizes here. Let's see if I can actually say all these measurements without messing them up. I have noticed sometimes when I go back and I watch my own videos, I'm like, oh God, I meant to say imperial instead of metric right there. But I think you guys get it, because usually I am pretty good about saying centimeters or inches. So anyway, we're going to use half sheet cardstock, and we're going to cut it lengthwise this time instead of widthwise. And so you guys know the drill. We've got 10.5 centimeters this way, and we have the full length of cardstock this way, which is 29.7, I think. Anyway, I didn't get anything off the length. If you're working with me in imperial, this way is 4¼ inches, which the full 11 inches, the full length. And you are going to give yourself a little score halfway, which in this case is going to be 14.85 centimeters, or if you're working in inches, it'll be 5.5. So that's the easy part. Get the base out of the way. This whole thing is actually easy. This is what I call the fun fold part. And it is, it's another strip. So basically, I worked from a half a sheet, as you can see here when you hold it up. Now, we're going to go this way. It's going to be slightly narrower because it's going to sit on top of this. So we've got 10 centimeters going this way. Now, this way is 27 centimeters. Okay, so I cut some off the end over here, or over here, wherever you want to put it. If you're working with me in imperial, we have across the top 4 inches by 9 3/4. Got it? All right, we're going to put this in our paper trimmer, and we're going to score it, or you can use a scoreboard either way, or you can use a pad and a score tool, however you want to do it, whatever works for you. So we're going to go in first. Now, I got a tip for this, by the way. If you put this in, as you guys know, when you score, you make a line down the center, right? And so when you pick it up off your scoreboard, you should always fold down when it comes, like this came off my scoreboard this way. So I fold it down. So knowing that, knowing which way to fold, you can do yourself a favor whenever you're making these fun folds, especially when you've got what I call an opposite fold like this, is if you think about the way you put the paper in the scoreboard or the paper trimmer. So we're going to start here. I know that this is going to be folded back, so I'm going to score on this side. So I put my paper trimmer into the first score line, which is, if you're working with me, it will be 6.2 centimeters or 2 1/4 inches. And you're going to score. Now, because this folds the other way, flip your paper over to put in your scoreboard, and that will give you a much cleaner fold when you get to the bottom. So anyway, once you got it flipped over, put your paper in, move it all the way across to 12.4 centimeters or 4 1/2 inches. So that way when you pull it out, it folds up like that. And I hope that made sense. I tried to say it out. So anyway, give it a go and you'll see what you mean. Especially if you've got some scrap paper or something, or some cardstock that's messed up. Try what I'm saying. Put it in one way and then put it in the other way. And you'll see that one way folds a whole lot better, a whole lot different. So usually if your score line is here and you put your score tool down like that, you want to fold it back. So like I said, on this one, I flipped it over, did the score, and it goes this way. All right, so anyway, so you guys see this accordion fold, and this is the fun fold part. And what we're going to do is we're going to mount this onto the card base. Now, you guys know I've talked about glue shadows before. It's not really gonna show in this case, but I'm gonna use the Stamp and Seal anyway because it makes life easy. So you just put your put your glue or your seal on here. You're only gluing this bottom part, or this longer part, I guess. This is the only bit that's going to be glued down. So we're going to put this here. We're going to line it up. Make it all pretty and even. I'm going to try not to stick my head in the way. Sorry about that. Oh, no, my hair is absolutely horrific. I've got a hair appointment tomorrow. I can't wait. Get my hairdresser, Nathan, make me look beautiful again. All right, there we go. All laid out, nice and flat and even. So now our fun fold part is stuck down on here. I'm actually going to put my seal away. I'm going to need glue for the next bit. Now, into this one, I used some of this awesome designer series paper called Mixed Media Florals. And if you look this up, this is part of the suite. So I used, you know, everything on this one. Except I don't think I used it came with some pretty little embellishments. I'll have to find them. They're over here somewhere. Anyway, I'm not going to use them this time. I'm going to use the other thing that comes in with if you buy the suite, which is this. This is the Plaster Painting 3D embossing folder, and guys, I have had a blast with this. It is amazing. It is one of the largest embossing folders that I own. It is the largest, I should say. And it's got a little slightly different texture on this side. And the reason I think they made it so big is that you've got a choice. You can put your paper in this way and have it go that way, or you can put your paper in the other way and have it swoosh off in the other direction, like this. Or you can use this edge. And I chose to use the edge. Look how this turned out. When I first took it out of the folder, I just sat there and touched it. I think there's something basically wrong with me because I just kept going, ooh, because it is so pretty. And look at the dimension on that. So basically, I had the paper out. I was actually going to use the reverse side of this paper. And I thought, it's too busy, didn't really like it. So I had the reverse side sitting up here. So what I did is I just cut a couple of strips. And now I'm going to use this as my card liner, like that. So I'll glue that in at some point. On this one, as you can see, I used a white card liner as well. And I have little spoogies on there. So if you have black, you're going to need a card liner. Anyway, so that's what I did. I decided not to use that. It was busier than what I actually wanted. So I started playing with the folder, and I've done this in color, but this was the first time I did it in black. And it is so impressive in black, and it's really impressive in white too. I did another one for no, I don't think I have it still sitting here. So this is going to be our background. We're going to use this instead of the designer series paper here. So I'm just going to adhere it down. Now I'm going to give you size on this. If you're doing designer series paper, this is going to be 9.5 centimeters by 13.85 centimeters, or 3 3/4 by 5. I know you guys probably recognize that number if you're card makers. This is a very dimensional folder. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to show you. Look, see, I put it in here this way. That's why it's so big. So you've got your choice of how you want your swishes and swirls. Okay, anyway, back to what I was saying. I did not make this slightly bigger. And as you can see, I lost quite a bit across the side. Not huge amounts, but I lost a bit across the sides. But I did lose quite a bit on the length. Now, if you're concerned about this, cut your paper big and then run it through your embossing folder and then trim it to fit. But I did it this way, so that's what you have. Now, when you're doing these really, really big, deep embosses, you want to be careful where you put your glue. I mean, obviously, if you get your glue in the cracks, it doesn't matter, but it's kind of a waste of glue. So you want to be sure you get the bumped out bits really well. In this case, because this is the back side. I don't know if you probably can't really see what I'm doing. Lots of shadows in here today. But we actually have a cloudy day. Woke up, it has some rain out there, which is nice. My garden is very happy about that. All right, so I don't know. I think it shows that really well, but I actually put quite a bit of glue on here. Because you really don't want this to come off. Just get a little on the edge there. The edges are going to stick up. That's all there is to it. You don't have much choice in that. So do your best to kind of get as much glue in those corners as you can. All right, let's flip this over. And like I said, I'm going to line up the top, but I'm going to leave the bottom a bit short, because it's not really going to show. I don't know if I got my head in the way again. Sorry. All right, there's this one. Now, because on my original one I did, which has already gone out to somebody, I'm sorry, got distracted trying to get the sides to lay down. It is very, very bumpy. I used the 3D embossing folder on this piece. It was just a little bit too much. So I suggest if you're using an embossing folder, make this piece plain, because it'll fold up a little bit cleaner for you like that. Now these two pieces are the same. Excuse me. This is going to be 9.5 centimeters, same width as this one, and by 5.8 centimeters. And then this is 3 3/4, same as the top, versus 2 inches down. Now you can see how much you lose. I think probably should have done it on black to illustrate it. don't use, because this piece is short, I didn't lose as much off the bottom, but I lost quite a bit off the sides. I'm not sure you can see that. Sorry about that. But anyway, this is the way it is. So we're just going to glue this piece in. It's nice that you can just cut it. It's quick. One piece, two pieces. Get that lined up. Like that. And now let's get some glue on this one. See if we can do a little better at getting that in the corners here. When this gets good and dry, I may go back and see if I need to tuck any in the corners. I do that occasionally. I don't know if you guys do that. Sometimes setting something aside and checking on how your glue is dried before it gets mailed is a good idea. All right, there's that. Now I chose to use this top. You don't, let's do this way, I think it'll be easier. You don't have to, you can just use I liked the look of the two different textures together. But if that's not your thing, you can use just the one texture. Okay, come on. Light glue gives you some slip. So now when this is folded up, look how sculpted that is. Love it. And now my stamped pieces. I stamped these, just like for here, on white cardstock. I used Memento Black. Can't pick that up. My paper's come loose, sorry. Just used Memento Black and stamped it. Just as easy as that. And these photopolymer stamps, you don't really even have to have a steady hand. You just get them nice and inked up and pop it on there. Now, to do this, center this up on here. Get about the same between the top and the bottom. Right and left, as if this were the piece you wanted to have, like that. And I found it easier, again, didn't want glue shadows, so I used the seal again. I did not pump, you're probably shocked that I didn't put this up on dimensionals. It didn't work. Did try. I do love my dimensionals. I did try, but it didn't look very good. It really needs to be laying down flat because there's just enough dimension with it on its own. All right, let's see. Let's get this right in the middle. Now this is going to be, this card is a little bit longer because I'm using longer cardstock. So if you are doing this and you're using Imperial cardstock, this is going to go almost to the edge. You're only going to have about a 1/4 of an inch on either side. I've got a lot more because, like I said, this is bigger cardstock, but it does fit and it does look good. And now for the bottom part, we only want glue on the bottom. So set this up. I need to glue from about here down. Yeah, the very first one I did, I wasn't paying attention, and I just put this tape runner all over the place. And then spent the next half hour with my handy little glue eraser erasing the glue off. Oy. I guess you have to do the stupid things though. Now hold this down and set it in here until you get it where you want it. Okay, I got a little extra glue here. Let's take this off. Okay. is it. How fast and easy was that? Do you see? I will have to go back and get that little bit of glue out of there, out of the corner, but that's okay. That's what glue erasers are for. By the way, these come from Amazon. You get a box of like 2, 4, about 6 to 8 in there, and they're like 3 pounds or something. They're very cheap and very worth it. And as somebody asked me the other day how you clean it, and I just cut it. Just take my big hunky scissors and just go. Eventually, this will be. It was quite a bit longer. You can see a little bit where I cut it. It was a bit longer, but anyway, it doesn't matter. This is our card. Let me go ahead and stick down the inside while I'm at it. Let's do it. Let's do quick and easy. I hope you give this gigantic stamp set a try. This is an amazing suite. I love black and white. If you guys have followed me, for you folks have followed me for any period of time, you know I love black and white. There's 2 color schemes that I call the easy road to elegance: black and white and gold and white. And you can never go wrong with the 2, either one of them. And black and gold and white's quite nice as well. So that's it. Here's our easel card. I'll set it up. I don't know how this is going to show on the camera, but I'm going to need to, do you know what? I did not burnish my folds, any of them. Sorry about that. Ooh, that's laziness there. Let's get the top down too. There, and that should help it stand up. Yep, there he goes. And so when it's standing and you're looking down on it this way, I think you can see that. That's how it looks standing up there. So anyway, quick, fast, easel fold card using big, bold stamps, awesome textures, and color. You could do it with color. I hope everybody's enjoyed this video. I hope you have a lovely, lovely crafty day. If you're watching me on Facebook, I always appreciate a heart. If you are catching this replay on YouTube, a thumbs up. And if you'd like more content like this, you can subscribe. I do a lot of fun folds, and I try to bring something a little bit different. I will bid you adieu, and have a great weekend, folks. Bye.